Hello everybody and welcome to the February 2024 recap. So this time there will not be that much out of life stuff, but regardless I will have to talk about a few things. So the first aspect I kinda want to discuss is of course that I've been kinda busy with the concert, which you can of course watch. I made a beforehand recreation. It was good practice run for the real thing, but it was an interesting experiment where I wanted to involve more of a conversation during the concert itself, and I wanted to inspire people to think about music in a deeper level and like actually analyze the music and reflect upon themselves how it feels to them and how they reflect upon the music itself. And while the YouTube version isn't exactly perfect as it does not have that great pauses, I did actually purposefully leave some pauses in there so everybody could pause and think, but it doesn't exactly do the perfect job because in the real life concert I did talk quite a bit, just having conversations with the viewers, so it was a rather interesting experiment. But with the concert out of the way, I'm gonna be able to focus a bit more on doing like videos and the other projects that I've been planning on, which were delayed, and yeah, I'm gonna be able to focus on those. Now, of course, I have been doing those commentaries quite a bit now, which, I'm actually kinda happy about. It's been really fun, and while they are in a different format than previously, I hope that they still serve the same purpose, and at the very least they are enjoyable to people. But I've been certainly having fun with those. So, I want to talk about the first piece of media, which will be Hazbin Hotel. Now that the full season was out at the end of January, I kinda purposefully left it with my friend so that we could watch it on the February so that it timed it here perfectly. We watched the whole of the first season and it was an experience. I did enjoy the series quite a bit, or moderate. Like, it's a fun enough series. It does have unique aspects to it, which I did enjoy. I'm not gonna comment about the whole SM drama going on about it. I'd rather talk about the quality itself. There are definitely aspects which I did enjoy. Some of the musical numbers were pretty freaking good, and some of them were just fine enough. Now, there are some aspects which were not as optimal, and some moments were maybe a bit rushed. And I think overall it's good enough, and it is like really quite enjoyable. Unfortunately, I don't think it really did evoke that much feeling in me, so it was fine, it was entertaining, and it was fun enough. So, not the best, but serviceable. Good enough, I'd say. Now, it is not a secret that I read quite a bit of manga, but of course sometimes I read more and sometimes I read less. One series that I've been enjoying quite a bit is of course Chainsaw Man, but now I will be talking about Fire Punch, the creator's previous series, which I really have been enjoying. I have almost completely read the series, and I, like I said, I enjoy it, but it is very strange, let's call it that. It is a very, very unique series in mostly good ways. It is something that I haven't really seen or read before, so it has some really, like, the messages and talking about the ways about, like, specifically religion and stuff like that. That's not anything that unique, but the way that it is portrayed and the way the story is built built through that theming is, well, of course, something that you could not do without manga. Like, it's something that could only be done with animation, or like real life recreation would be quite difficult. So yes, I quite enjoy the series, but it is very hard to talk about it without spoiling it, and it gets into it gets really wacky and weird, and it's such a peculiar series, but I have enjoyed it quite a bit. Now, would I recommend it? Sure, if you want something that is striking and unique and disturbing in some weird ways. It's a very difficult series to recommend, but I want to say I enjoyed it, and I did, like, for the most part I have enjoyed it, but it is very unique, gross at some parts, but it's at the very least it leaves a quite an impression on you. Now, the other series I do want to talk about is something that I have been reading quite frequently, or something that I read through at one point, and that is Iruma. It's not finished yet, but it is something that I'm constantly await for the new updates and stuff like that. We first watched the first season with my friend, and I was flabbergasted at the show. I was not expecting a high school comedy romance show to be so outstanding. Iruma is, of course, just in general, something very unique. Now, the setting itself, technically speaking, isn't unique. It's a high school series, it's a Comedy Central series. That's nothing shocking there. But the way that the story develops, the way that the characters develop, and the way that they actually reflect with each other and have actual honest the main character is one of my favorite characters of all time, one of the favorite protagonists just in general, and a lot of it has to do with the honest to god goodness that he is. He is a good boy, such a good boy, and it's just fantastic. And now the series has a lot of different arcs to it, which are so flavorful and so different and so imaginative, and it takes full advantage of the unique setting, or the uniqueness of the setting, and it makes it very entertaining. I really enjoyed the series. Iruma is one of the most enjoyable series. Now, it's once again something that has some caveats to it. It's a high school setting, and it's a mostly comedy focused show, but it has some really heartfelt moments and some shockingly good action to it. And though it is so peculiar, but it's definitely one of the most enjoyable reads I've had in a long while. So for the first game, I want to highlight something that is in early access but will be coming out really soon. It got its 0.99 release, so it's basically finished. It's a game that I've been following throughout its development because I loved it. It's been so much fun, and that is Secrets of Grindea, or Grindea, however you want to pronounce it. And it's let's say it's a simple action RPG hack and slash collectathon, which, okay, that's just random titles. But if you scroll to the Steam page, you will quite easily see what kind of gameplay it has. I've been playing it on difficult because that's how I enjoy it. And earlier on I already was really happy with the game. It had already really fantastic visuals and really nice sound design, and it has gotten only better. It is, of course, grindy, but that's kind of the point, and it has an arcade mode, which I haven't touched yet. On difficult, it is something where I have been dying constantly in the story mode, but since you just reset to the beginning of the screen, it's not that bad, and that actually makes it a very unique sort of challenge where you just really... It's kind of like the precision platformers, but in an action RPG form, where you constantly die and retry the levels, and that makes it like a really interestingly unique challenge. Not like completely unique, I can't remember any games, but I am very certain there are games that have that same sort of challenge. But like, I've been just having so much fun with that game. It's a really enjoyable game, and I'm really happy that the developers took their time with the game and made it as perfect as they could. And it shows. There's so much love and attention and care to detail in every inch of the world and in every aspect of it. It's one of the games that just feels alive, even though it is like mostly just a platform to just like continue grinding away at your enemies, and it's just like there's so many good aspects to it. So yeah, I've been really having so much fun with the game. Yeah, Secrets of Grindea. I would recommend it if you want like an action collectathon. Yeah, it has so many good aspects to it. Now I want to highlight a game that I went back to. I have already played and almost 100% completed the game, but I went back and played it again. And that is Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. And that is mostly because they added a Shantae DLC, free DLC, costume stuff. And I've been just going back and exploring that the game has so much more than I expected. Like the first playthrough, yeah, it was a really nice Metroidvania. But that should be expected from Igarashi himself. The freaking father of the genre created another fantastic Metroidvania. But that's not where the game ended. There's so much more to the game. So first of all, I've been really enjoying that it has a retro recreation of Castlevania 1. That's my pronunciation. Anyway, Castlevania 1, which has been a really fun playthrough. It has, of course, the difficulty that the first Castlevania has, and it actually is in spades, but it has been done with the assets of the new game, and it's just a really loving mock-up of the game, and it's been so much fun. It's really difficult. I haven't beaten it, but it's been fantastic. There's a lot of different modes. For example, there's a boss rush mode, and there's a boss revenge mode. There's so many good modes to the game, and it's all free. This is one of the most highest value aspects, like one of the best value propositions in modern gaming. I could like feasibly say, like, that isn't like free, like let's call like Warframe, for example. But for a paid game, this is one of the best like value propositions. The other ones I could say like Hollow Knight maybe. So, you know, that's... And okay, Enter the Gungeon, Risk of Rain, stuff like roguelikes. But for a like actual, not a roguelike game, there's so much fun. Something that has been an enjoyable experience has also been the randomized mode, which just completely randomized all the drops from everywhere. And in one of my runs, I got so freaking lucky that I got one of the endgame weapons in the very first screen, which made me steamroll through the game until I required power-ups. And that's where I hit a wall, and it has been really fun to just try and find it from any drop I could. And that's just, it's so much fun. It's a randomizer built into the game itself. The game has like so much replayability. So if you don't want to have Bloodstained yet, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, I would highly recommend it if you want a Metroidvania, because it's, of course, it's one of my two favorite genres, and it is one of the best like next to Hollow Knight, it's one of the best. An up-and-coming game, which I recently released, something that I have got from Humble Bundle quite a while ago, and something that I've been now enjoying just playing through a little bit, and decided to put it very up to the top of my list to play through, is Wavetale. So, the best way I can describe this game and why it struck out to me is if you know the feeling of freedom from Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Yeah, this game has that kind of feeling, but even better, because it's of course a lot with the sailing. As you can see from the title card, it is something where you're surfing on waves, and in the game you basically surf freely. And it just feels so freeing, and the movement is such an integral part of the game. I haven't played all that much yet, but from what I have played, I've been enjoying it quite a bit. It is a beautiful looking game with such a clean art style. But yeah, it's really enjoyable. I really have it. It really looks beautiful and fun. Now I will be playing through it very soon and let's see if my opinion changes. Good sound design, beautiful game, pretty great controls, and the freedom of movement is the best aspect of the game. And the story, it's been serviceable. It's fine. Let's see if my opinion changes in, I suppose, a month. So, one of the things that I did go through and play again was VVVVVV, or 6 Vs, or whatever, WWW, but VVVVVV. It's one of the old games that made me fall in love with indies, and it's still a fantastic experience. Very simple game. You have one button and movement to left and right, and the one button reverses gravity. I did a really nice achievement. I got one of the hardest. I cleared the hardest room in the game really early on, and it didn't take honestly that long. It took 10 minutes at most, but doing that much concentration was so exhilarating, and the feeling it's one of the most rewarding experiences I've had in such a long while, and still just remembering it makes me just very giddy. Now, of course, VVVVVV has one of the most outstanding soundtracks ever. It's it made me just love chiptunes when I first encountered it in my youth, and ever since then I've been in love with the genre, or style, I guess is a bit more accurate to call it. And yeah, I just wanted to highlight the game. It's old, but it is as clean as ever. It's a timeless game, I'd say. And then I want to highlight a game that I completed, the game that I finished during this month. The only game actually, because been busy. And that is Are Eva. I started this last month and finally managed to get enough to finish the game. I did struggle quite a bit to beat the game, because every time I kind of got stuck I had to quit for a day or two, so my brain could refresh and regain composure perfectly, so I could beat it. It's just a puzzle platformer, with the puzzle being that you have two realms you are in, and you can switch freely between them, and the realms do have, let's say, differences. It took me a long while to beat the game, but I'm really happy I did. Most of the game is centered around the gameplay, but the music is really nice, and the story is serviceable. It mostly does its job as the main character just talks to you as the player, just immediately breaking the fourth wall, and that's fine. And that's actually fun. And the character itself is actually kind of fun. Like, I don't usually warm up that much to fourth wall breaking characters, but the playable character has such a lovely goblin, gremlin energy, whatever you want to call it, that it makes me really happy. So yeah, it's a really nice, smooth, simple platformer. It's quite chill. It has a varied challenge. Some levels are so much more difficult than others, and it mostly is because of the world system. Now, of course, there is also the fun thing that if you fail a level or die, it kinda re-rolls the layout for you, which is another fun aspect where you can fine-tune the level a little bit. Well, not controlled, but you can re-roll the level and hopefully get a level more suited or something that you are more comfortable with. And yeah, that is a really interesting way to handle the difficulty. And of course, the controls are really solid, but I think my controller is broken, so that put a damper on it. Still, really enjoyed the game and would highly recommend it. Now I want to thank you all very much because we've come to the outro and I've been just talking for quite a while now. I didn't want to use any footage this time around, so people don't have to. You can use this as a podcast sort of thing, and that's been fine. I hope you have enjoyed, and I thank you all very much for your continued support. I'm gonna get back to working on videos now, and hopefully the secret project, but we'll talk about that later. I thank you all very much for watching. I hope to see you in the future. Have a great day, and stay awesome. Ganmu out.